Hi, how's it going? I'm out here at the Rio Grande, down in the bottom of the Taos Gorge. And there's the rim up there. You gotta hike from that high up. I think it's about 700 feet vertical. Came down here today, unwind a little bit, had a free day, it looks like, and I know that I'm going to be going through a lot of motion in the next few weeks here as I'm getting ready to move, and wanted to come down here and get a little bit of unwind. And I was meditating here for a little bit and thinking about, what's worth discussing. And it really, the energy right now it's pretty outrageous, honestly. I know so many of us have been tracking this, the energy of the shift, and wanting to be present within all the energies and doing our best to move forward as all these energies are coming through. And like, as I just, I wrote about in my recent newsletter, it's like the squeeze, the squeeze is on. The cosmic constrictor is squeezing the life out of the distortions, it's bringing everything up to the surface. And one of the things that I was thinking about was like, well, how do we best prepare ourselves right now? How do we best ensure that we can do our best? And I was thinking about, the cleansing, right? Like how important it is to take care of our bodies right now, and to have clarity. Yeah, here comes the sun poking out from behind a big cloud. That we can have clarity, within our lives, within our discernment, within our mind, within our emotions. And that really, I think, starts with our bodies, wanting to ensure that our bodies are optimized, that this is super advanced technology that we inhabit. We are not our bodies, but we drive our bodies, and it's super advanced technology. We've been convinced, perhaps, within our society, the infiltrations in our society, try to convince us that our bodies are low vibe, It's all about, like in the New Age movement, like it's all about like ascension. Got to go higher, get out of the body. No, man. Like, the actual ascension occurs by us bringing the frequencies down through and grounding them through the 3D reality, which includes our bodies. And so I think the first thing, to really recognize in how we approach this moment with our bodies then is cleansing and removal of parasites. So this is something, if a lot of people are becoming familiar with this. But even just a handful of years ago, it was pretty rare that I would encounter people when I would talk about parasites, that they would have an accurate understanding. And a lot of people still don't. People are like, I've never been to Mexico, I've never been to India, I don't have any parasites. It's like, no, we all have parasites. They say if you eat meat, right, you eat sushi, you're going to have parasites. Well, yeah, that's true. There's certain parasites that are in meat, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to cook things thoroughly. But it's everywhere. It's in the chemtrails. I believe it's in food additives. They say that certain parasites you can pick up by walking barefoot on the ground. If you have pets, if you have animals that live in your home, cats, dogs, you got parasites, but the parasites, though, there are a lot of types of parasites, right? A parasite is something who derives its energy, its source from another being. And in this case, we have parasites for sure that live within our bodies. There are like microbes that are parasites. There are small, simple, not super complex organisms that are also parasites that inhabit the body. There are worms, there are all sorts of stuff that most people can't even imagine. And I've seen it, because I run cleanses. I help people to cleanse. I cleanse my own body. I see it. So I know it's true. Things that would surprise most people. And wow, there's like a lot of insects. There's some kind of a hatch going on right now. These like tiny, tiny little guys. They're kind of all over the place. That one almost entered my mouth. But so yeah, lots of types of parasites. And one of the, even things like fungus, mold spores, they function like parasites. Like they create interference. They're sapping our energy. And so we need to remove these things out of our body. There are several different types of herbs that are very effective and that can be taken in tincture form, in tea form, in the form of like capsule supplements that you take. Lots of different types of parasite cleanses available. Lots of different, herbs that are pretty widely available in the Western world to be able to get a hold of. And they're very effective at killing the different stages of the life cycle. There's also things like ivermectin and fenbendazole that are anti-parasitic by their nature and are safe for human consumption. In fact, ivermectin won the Nobel Prize for humans in spite of all of the propaganda about horse paste and all that kind of stuff. Ivermectin is a miracle drug that has a number of different applications, one of which is that it clears parasites. So, lots of means of beginning to approach that and changing our diet so that we are not necessarily feeding the types of foods that, like processed foods and high sugar foods and lots of things with yeast, like alcohol, lots of different things that if we can go through and also simultaneously eliminate these things that we know to be food sources, then that also really helps in the removal. Colon hydrotherapy, either colonics or doing enemas, which I call flushes. We use enemas as an integral part of the cleanse process when I take people through a cleanse. And the flushing of the colon is very important because you're hydrating the colon, which helps to hydrate and like loosen and then remove impacted material. And that's another thing. Just like we've all got parasites, we've all got impacted material as well over the years. When it could be as simple as on any given day, maybe you have, maybe you fell off of your bike or something while mountain biking and got hurt. And like for the next several hours, your digestion slowed down. It like went stagnant and then it starts up and flows again. But by that time, maybe, things get impacted into the inside of the colon and, different dietary problems, different digestive system problems. I mean, that's, things get impacted in there. And when we're doing flushes, we help to remove that impacted material. Inside the impacted material are breeding grounds for parasites, So it's really important. It also helps you to remove nanotechnology infiltrations out of the body. Which, if you're not familiar with that, nanotech is a type of technology that is referred to by its scale. It's like named by the scale of it, which is nanometer scale, which I think is a billionth of a meter. It might be a millionth of a meter, but I think it's like a billionth of a meter. You have to have an electron scanning microscope to be able to image the nanometer scale, like viruses, right? What we call viruses. So, the nanotech creates major interference, major problems. They send and receive signals. They create interference in our endocrine system. They create, they help to compromise our circulatory system. So it's we want to remove nanotech, and when we're cleansing the body of these these parasites and other things, we also, want to remove that kind of stuff out of the body by doing flushes, by using zeolite, by doing different things that we can do to like remove heavy metals, doing a heavy metal cleanse, etc. These are all very effective things. And what I also find, though, in addition to the physical, right, it's like we need to prepare the physical, get the physical ready before we are able to protect my microphone here in case the breeze is blowing. We need to clear the body, clear the physical infiltrations out of the body, and then also take care to clear up our energy body, right? Our mental body, our emotional body. This is very important because many times these parasites, these other infiltrations, they affect our mind. Certain kinds of parasites are very, very advanced. These aren't just like always simple organisms. These are things that can live inside of us for decades and can conduct thought form projection, is what I call it, when they're projecting thoughts into our mind. And you have a thought rise that maybe is negative, right? Like, damn it, I wish that he hadn't done that, or that I can't stand that woman, whatever, like that, those types of thoughts. It's like when those things rise, it's often being projected into our conscious awareness by the parasitic infiltration inside of us, specifically designed to then generate the type of emotion, like generate all that cortisol, generate the chemical compounds then that flow through the body when we're feeling anger or resentment or fear or worry or anxiety, betrayal, whatever those emotions may be. So as we clear those things out, we begin to help ourselves unwind some of these patterns within the mind and within the emotions. But it's also a really good idea, if you can, then to support yourself with doing some different, whatever type of energy work is supportive to you, to help, Reiki, or like my gamma wave healing, or, different modalities that can be used to clear these things. But then, also in my path, I utilize the plant medicines, and the plant medicines then are very effective at helping us to clear our bodies, to clear our energy field. We have a retreat coming up in South Africa in August, and which I think we have 2 spots remaining to be filled. But this is the comprehensive addressing of all of these issues that I've been talking about. We design it into this comprehensive cleanse process to clear the colon, clear the parasites, clear the infiltrations out of the body, and change the diet to be maximally supportive, and then also adding in the master teacher plant medicines that each have their own ability to be able to clear the body, clear the energy field, and reconnect you into who you truly are, so that as you're living your life, you're no longer having to kind of compete with these countering influences that are rising from within you. And I mean, it just really is important, all of this, why I bring this up today. It's really important that we recognize that as the squeeze is on and as these pressures are increasing, that we are, rightfully then being taken through it. Like we're having any of the resonance of these distortions, these infiltrations that are within us, within our body, within our mind, within our emotions, they're going to get brought up to the surface right now, because those frequencies, those energies, those physical infiltrations, they're not frequency specific to where we're going as we move through the end of the phase shift. So it's really important, that we do everything that we can to be in integrity within our bodies and within ourselves, within our mind, within our heart, and to address these issues as we can, however you're intuitively guided. Don't feel like you got to take the whole world on. But if you're feeling like, hey man, I feel like I've been feeling heavy, lethargic, I've been like craving sugar, maybe it's time for a parasite cleanse or a liver flush, a liver gallbladder flush. Very, very effective, very important. And maybe you've just gone through a breakup, and that's a perfect time to do a cleanse, and to do a parasite cleanse in specific, because you and your partner share everything, right? If you're physically intimate, if even just kissing, but physical intimacy, you're going to be exchanging your each other's parasites. Like, I know that sounds kind of weird, and a little grody, but I mean, it is, because of just the way that the life cycles of these things and how they reproduce and whatnot. And so, when you end a relationship, then if there are any of those kind of unconscious patterns that are expressing between the two of you, that's almost always going to be related to a parasitic infiltration. And so, doing a cleanse at the ending of a relationship is like a great way to clear that energy, to clear the relationship, clear all the good, clear all the hard, clear it out of your body, so that then your body becomes clearer and is like a temple for your most authentic expression, and will prepare you then moving forward in the rest of your life. And so, like, that's a great time. I'm about to move. After I get done moving, I'm definitely gonna do a little cleansing because of the stress and the physical hardship of it all. It's like anytime we move through these kinds of changes, it's a really good idea. So, all right, well, that's a lot of information about cleansing the body right now. And take a look. Right. Thank you so much for listening and taking the time out of your day. And I wish you just so many blessings and so much peace as we move through this incredible moment. This is why we're here, this exact moment. So this is the reason why we all came to Earth, is to transit this moment and to embody the new codes, the new frequencies for what comes next. So, yay. Good luck to all of us. Love you all.